Yeah, that's actually the first thing that came to mind. Like, they really have it all. They can all shoot from the outside pretty well, finish inside, and then they're also just really smart, really savvy players playing in that system. So it's tough. You can't like force them into doing one particular thing because if you let them shoot, they're gonna shoot. If you make them go inside, then they'll punish you in there. So it's a tough matchup. They have a bunch of things they can do.
We didn't catch you in the last part of what you said, Troy, but I wanted to follow that up. These big men, you've gone head to head with TNT, and you've gone head to head with these three. I mean, amongst those three, who did you have the hardest time against, and what made it so tough against that specific player?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know if I can choose. I'll say Kelly Williams was tough to guard because he's just a veteran. Just respect him a lot, and just his feel for the game is really good. So it's tough to his movement and just where he places himself on the court. It was tough to keep up with him.
Yeah, James, we talk about how these guys normally can stretch the floor, could score in different ways, not just pounding it inside. And it could make defense, especially for guys like you who are so good at just rim protecting. Since you guys have to stretch out, you're going to talk a bit about what they do on offense and what you have to think about every time you go up against them.
Yeah, well, I mean, TNT was my first game in the league, so it was definitely a crazy day. But playing against three bigs like that, which are really like modern day big men now, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, having to be aware that Aaron can pop out at any time. Kelly Williams is just gonna go out for a random ball screen, or Troy Rosario. He plays almost like a big guard. You really got to be aware, active at all times, especially against TNT's bigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about their offense, but out defensively, James, what do they pose in that way? Because, again, you do have the size advantage, but talk a bit about their strength.
I mean, they're tough as nails. I'm going to just put it out there. Everyone knows, Aaron, Defensive Player of the Year, Kelly Williams, Troy Rosario, their MVP are in their own rights. And defensively, they're really, really tough. Kelly's going to hit you, and he's a really strong dude. That's how he uses his body. And then Aaron is long as hell. And he's long and he's quick. So it's just like, you think you got the layup, but he's going to just poke a stick and get you. So he's real good. And then Troy, he's a hell of a dude, man. He's a hell of a player. Real tough.
So Kelly's going to hit you. Boy is long as hell,
yeah.
and Troy's just gonna get you. No, I love those. Those are the
Troy's
Cliff Notes.
just in your grill. He's always there.
That's the Cliff Notes version of that scouting report.
Yeah, and I want to go now, moving up there, talking about people, guys or players who hit and guys who are long. You got to think about two guys on that Magnolia side, Troy.
Oh,
you have Calvin Abueva and Ian Sangalang. What do you see on going up against them? These guys, what do they bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, Calvin's energy and his toughness is just crazy. He's like a really tough matchup. He's going to put his body on the line, do whatever it takes for the team to win. You got to be ready for him to be physical with you. And I won't even lie about Sangalang. I was familiar with Junmar and some of those guys coming in, but then once I got onto the court with him, he just really he can just do everything. You know what I mean? Doing the little things, his finishing inside. I was really impressed when I went up against him.
Troy, looking at Ian Sangalang's production, we all know that he has one move, and that is to go to his left. And you can scout it as much as you want, but it's just so hard to stop. Did you have that in your mind every time you went up against a guy like Ian, knowing that, okay, he's going to go to his left, But then can you talk about actually having to stop it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough thing. We definitely scout. Our coaches do a good job of preparing us. But, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, most of the stuff he does is simple, but it's just so effective. He just gets to his spots, uses his shoulder, and even if you know it's coming, it's just tough to defend it.
Exactly. And, we talk about now the finals. It's coming up. These group of big men, Magnolia and TNT. James, what matchups do you see are going to, happen in this first game? Who's going to match up with who in the bigs?
Well, I would say for sure Abueva's going to be key. So they're going to need someone on Abueva at all times. So I feel like it'll be someone like for Abueva, probably Troy Rosario. Hold on, let me put this question. Okay, and then son, that's my son, you guys.
It's all
Guys,
good. Yeah.
No, at least we know you're home.
That's my son. He wanted to debut.
Yeah, so at least we know you're home.
And then who else is there? Kelly Williams. Honestly, I think they're gonna deploy the vet Rafi. You know, they're gonna have to deploy Rafi. He's gonna be there for Kelly or JP Aram. And then in terms of Ian Sunderland, yeah, that's gonna be Aram's assignment. That's gonna be all their assignments, man. Ian's something else.
Yeah, yeah. You know
they're all gonna have to take turns with Ian.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to take turns with that. Troy, do you see that the same way? Do you think that it will be on TNT to show multiple looks on a guy like Ian Sangalang, or do you feel that even Magnolia will have a hard time containing the bigs of TNT?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tough assignment, no matter the team, no matter the player. But I think that's the best way to do it, honestly. Talented bigs like that, you got to show them different looks, different energy, different defensive styles. I mean, that's your kind of best hope on throwing someone like that off his game who's just been so effective all conference.